You're welcome to News Insight. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Is Osun really out of control?
I don't think so.
Peter, do you think Osun is
And
out
I
of
do
control?
that now.
Because when we talk of a state of emergency, people just keep flagging this thing up and down. Do you know that in a place like South Korea, for the fact that the president mentioned it, he hasn't even implemented it. He mentioned it. The man was removed. The man was he was prosecuted as if he carried out a coup against the nation. So I don't know why people they find it easy to dangle state of emergency around. State of emergency, dangling it around is like a coup against democracy.
It is.
So,
in the case of Osun State, APC had always boasted that any state they do not have control of is actually their next target. And in most cases, we feel that gives room for rigging of election and stealing of mandates. Because I do not see in a sane society, in a democratic setting, where people are going into contest, where people will vote somebody, and you can declare ahead who will win because you are in power. A state of emergency, to my little understanding, the Section 305 of 1999 Constitution clearly stated conditions for declaration of state of emergency. In a case of national disaster or danger. What is national disaster or danger? In a situation where an uncontrollable, an unmanageable situation. Yes. But you have a state where a PDP is in power, and then the PDP governor, I'm not trying to support him, I've never talked about PDP. But you see, the work of the sitting governor is security of life and property. He was able to have gathered ahead, right? Intelligence report. And he didn't try to manage it himself because even though it is right, all right, he felt there is an external force, an internal force, sons and daughters of Osun State who are powerful and connected to the highest authority in the country were also indirectly involved or directly involved. And he cried out to the whole world and to the president, a sitting APC president, that this is expected crisis that may come up in my state. All right? And now, all of a sudden, that was still allowed to happen. And now a member of the APC. So I think, I'm not judging anyway, I should be pardoned, but I think it's a deliberate attempt by the APC, knowing that they may not be able to muzzle the power out of PDP hands based on the people of Osun State's way of doing things ahead of the coming election. So they decide now to use any little crisis that lost, 2 people's lives were lost, and they are crying for declaration.
Almost six people.
Now you are declaring for state of emergency, but you have other states where over hundreds of people.
I mean, every life is sacred.
For crying out loud, I never talk about state of emergency. Peter, so I think it's a deliberate attempt.
Yeah, Peter, I think local government election is flexing the political muscle more than any of us is expected.
Yeah.
Because local government elections is meant to serve the local people. But at the end of the day, the big wigs, ministers, those who should be busy in their office, maybe find 1 hour time or 2 hours time to vote in their own particular local government, if they are from that state and from that local government. We find them taking over the entire election. We find them becoming interested in the entire election. We find what is happening. Local government election is the opportunity for local people who live there, market, local traders, farmers, and all that, primary school teachers, to elect their local officials they know and see daily. What is happening?
Both of us know what is happening.
You tell me. I don't know.
The dynamism has changed. Now, based on Supreme Court judgment, they get their funding directly from federal allocations.
So they are looking for money.
So everybody wants to control that allocation. Everybody wants to put his man there. So the fight for local governments becomes serious now, because again, I said this, politics is grassroots. Now you have a man there that controls his fund, that can control the people, that can give you the electorate. So this fight is not about to stop. So every other person that is influential in the state wants to control his local government because of these formation reasons. But let's go into it. Instead of emergency, why did they dangle it every time? Remember River State, when they bombed the house of their state assembly? Assembly. That came up. The ABC was asking the presidency to declare state of emergency. They're using that to hand twist the governors to threaten the governors. Is that you play ball or we'll do this? We'll declare state of emergency. We'll take over a state for 90 days. 90 days, no, 9 days. If they declare state of emergency, your state is gone for at least 90 days. And they'll control the system, they'll control everything. And there's no guarantee they're coming back. So they are using this as a control tool over the governors. And there's reason, as you mentioned, how it should be before you declare it. Have we made these things?
Exactly.
No.
No.
Is there any national disaster in Osun State? No.
Is there any situation we can't control? The police stations were working. All every security apparatus were all working. The commissioner of police for the state was working. So the command and control system all were working. So there is no uncontrollable system, certainly. So I ask you, Eli, if we begin to confuse ourselves of what state of emergency is, how come the president, because I saw, you talked about the governor knowing ahead of time. I saw the tweet myself earlier. When I saw the tweet, I was like, what could be happening in Osun State? I saw it first on Twitter, and I'm very, very certain if I could see it, DSS must have seen it. All other security agencies must have seen it. Does it mean they don't work together with the president to ensure, police, to ensure that they prevent carnage rather than allowing it to happen and see how to ventilate the state of emergency that will actually never happen?
To the question you just asked, we are not in position to judge. But I want to believe that based on certain things seen so far, like the sitting of the present IG of police, like the sitting of the present INEC chairman, where a man have contributed his quota to the growth of the country, and then there are other people as good as him and better than him, to my understanding, in the same offices, and then those ones are never allowed to rise to their position simply because these other ones that are supposed to have left are favored to remain, and they are favored to remain in compensation to what we think, or I think, is a compensation for services rendered. Now, how do you get the best from GSS or police when the body language here is this? Who were causing the trouble? To whose advantage will there be trouble? Who is crying for state of emergency today? Who will the state of emergency favor? It's APC. The presidency is APC. The people interested in the Osun State are APC. APC have clearly stated to Nigeria that they are taking over. They are taking over at all costs. Not they are going to deliver. Why people will vote for them. They are just taking over. So if you are the DSS boss there or the police boss there, and the body language of the people who are interested in power and the people that allow you to be in office, that give you that appointment, is this way, what will you do? You look at that way.
So let me add to that. In Nigeria, most times we don't what is the right word here? That we don't try to mitigate an issue, a problem. We were always reactive. The truth was released.
It's often said that prevention is better than cure.
We're not proactive. We'll wait for it to actually react to it. No, if we had taken steps to make sure it doesn't happen, we won't be here. These things were mentioned by the governor. These tweets were out. So especially the federal government or powers that be to be proactive.
Yes.
But we're always reactive. We wait for it to have happened. If we were proactive, we would have needed it at the board. It wouldn't have happened. But this thing we know is what was about to happen. It was said on Sunday. Okay. So we should be proactive, not reactive in this country.
Let me make a case here. Can we say that from the federal, that it is probably that they want this to happen because they have capacity to respond? Preventive measures have always been better than curative measures.
Exactly.
Anywhere,
exactly.
They have, if the public have this knowledge, there was no way the president or the security, doesn't have to be president directly. Let's say the IG in particular would have discarded this. No. Why I said IG is, you see, I've had a situation where police say, nobody ordered us to. I say, no, they don't order you to fight a crime. Once there is a crime, that is responsibility. That's why you are employed. In your jurisdiction, so far you are acting within your jurisdiction. No other person need to order you to go and arrest a criminal. So that's why I said IG could act. What is it that prevented them from acting? In the first place, like I mentioned, what prevented them from acting is personal interest. And in the first place, personal interest in people to die or what?
Well, in anything that will make them want to declare state of emergency. because they're already demanding for state of emergency. And they won't just wake up and say because they felt that the governor refused to install the people they want them installed, to remove the ones that were on seat. As it's all about local government in Osun State. And it's so pathetic because the governor did mention that even the people that were removed before he became governor. So it's not as if he's witch hunting anybody. So I want to feel that the police, the DSS, the people that were in position to have worked ahead of time didn't do this because they are doing this in favor or to get to be applauded by some certain group of people. And why I still want to put it to the president is this. Look, ordinary press release from the president would have calmed this situation down. When the governor said this and that, and you were saying that you knew this is what was going to happen. It was APC and PDP fighting over control of local government. And the governor have cried out. That is what he could have done. The president sat down. So I think APC knew what they are doing.
Okay, Peter, let me just put it this way. Do you think the governor, having had this information ahead of time, do you think the governor would have responded better if there was a state police?
Sure. Now this is a clarion call for state police. We've debated on this for a long while. Yeah, there are a lot of negatives.
Yes, exactly.
There's so much
it's about weighing it side by side.
Thank you. If he had had resources, he wouldn't have allowed it to escalate. Every governor wants a peace in his state. No governor wants to see lives being lost. These are citizens of the state. These are not foreigners. These are not strangers. They are people from that state. So if the governor had the control over police, or he has the state police, I can tell you for free, it wouldn't have happened. And again, why didn't the federal government declare state of emergency in Imo State? Some years ago, when this guy in House of Prep, Ugochinyere, when they were bombed everywhere, nothing like state of emergency was mentioned. Because it was an
because the APC is in control there.
APC state.
And then the bombing and killing was to the advantage.
It's an APC state.
So what are we talking about?
So they shouldn't be threatening, my mind is that they shouldn't be threatening governors with this. It is wrong. It's not acceptable. It is wrong. People elected these people. If they wouldn't have picked, let the people decide. If people don't want them next 4 years, they'll kick them out. It's not for you from Abuja to decide who stays and who doesn't stay. See, you cannot control any man that is being elected by generality of people. He's accountable to those that elected him.
So, Eli, I want you to throw light more on the issue of state policing. Don't you think that it is time, when, after all, the IG is being appointed by the president, and Nigeria has not disappeared? Why are we so scared? Why are we so scared that if we handle the policing over to governors, that is only the negative side that we're going to see?
Well, because of our level of reasoning, maturity, and understanding of life and values for our system, our constitution. But I want to equally agree with him, like he had mentioned, that if the governor had authority, complete authority over the security of his state, having cried out, he would have put into measures that would have stopped this unexpected and unnecessary loss of life. But having said that, I think it's time we should begin to look inward. A lot of us have kicked against state police because of our level of doing things, thinking that people will use it to their advantage, that people empower the governors. But in this case, the federal is also failing the states by not listening to a governor who has already cried out.
Exactly.
So if you cannot protect lives and property, for whatever reason, allow the governors to protect. And in addition to the issue of the local government, the fight over local government, it's not all about the money. I mentioned it here sometimes last week, if I'm not mistaken.
For next election.
For next election, because if you have 20 local government in a state, and then one party is able to have 17, 18 local government.
Those are lieutenants for next election.
So that is one of the fights. So we should put the people's interest first at mind, at heart, and then the values for life.
Peter, do you think Asiwaju, as a president, the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, has placed the life of Osun people first in this case?
Well, I would like to excuse him because he's the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Yeah. He is not the president of Osun State. He governs we all. He had people play such responsibilities. I want to believe that.
IG of police?
Yes, I want to believe that those he handed out responsibilities to, they failed Osun State.
And so they should be removed.
They failed, and there should be consequence for failing. You don't promote somebody for failing. there should be consequence. So they failed. So
Okay,
President should deal with this film.
you still believe Asiwaju, even though not him, at least the IG of the police must have seen those tweets and the alarm that was raised that he should have responded better.
Before you will see anything, the way they go about accusing people of cyber bullying, they watch, they see before you and I see.
Yes.
They are security experts. So I think maybe the IG is actually tired. They should actually be let off. Let him go and rest. He has contributed
Okay, I
so
think we
much.
should be putting it this way. Asiwaju assigned people to be in charge of security, even though the buck stopped at his table. There are other cadres. Commissioner of Police is there in Osun State. The IG is also there in Abuja here, overseeing them. I mean, those two cadres should have taken control of this
Situation.
You know, let's say DSS maybe more internal, whatever, but at least policing the one that we can see should have been able to attend to this. You know, particularly when they are flaunting Asiwaju's name, maybe he should have released a statement like you have said. I think it is high time they put the life of people first before any next election or control of resources. Gentlemen, thank you for this analysis. This is still News Insights. We'll be right back.